That brings us full face to encounter the reality of it all. Life can be, life as we understand it in terms of passing years, can be extremely brief in the life of our human friends. And the end of it can happen so quickly. The wise ones have recognized it is foolish to waste a breath, one breath, breathing in anger, or fear, or shame, or anything inconsequential. It's so easy to get lost in the passing show that we lose track sometimes of the march of time. We lose our appreciation for the fact that this breath might well be the last. Consider the story. The older I get, the more I enjoy Saturday mornings. Perhaps it's a quiet solitude that comes with being the first to arise. Or maybe it's the unbounded joy of not having to be at work. Either way, the first few hours of a Saturday morning are most enjoyable. A few weeks ago, I was shuffling toward my basement hideaway with a steaming cup of coffee in one hand and a morning paper in the other. And what began as a typical Saturday morning turned into one of those lessons that life seems to hand you from time to time. Let me tell you about it. I turned the dial up into the phone portion of the band on my ham radio in order to listen to a Saturday morning conversation. Along the way, I came across an older-sounding chap with a tremendous signal and a golden voice. You know, the kind he sounded like he should be in the broadcasting business. He was telling whoever he was talking with something about 1,000 marbles. I was intrigued and stopped to listen to what he had to say. Well, Tom, it sure sounds like you're busy with your job. I'm sure they pay you well, but it's a shame you have to be away from home and your family so much. Hard to believe a young fellow should have to work 60 or 70 hours a week to make ends meet. Too bad you missed your daughter's dance recital. He continued, let me tell you something, Tom, something that has helped me keep a good perspective on my own priorities. And then he began to explain his theory of 1,000 marbles. You see, I sat down one day and did a little arithmetic. The average person lives about 75 years. I know some live more and some less, but on an average, 75 years is about it. Now then, I multiplied 75 times 52, and I came up with 3,900, which is the number of Saturdays that the average person has in their entire lifetime. Now stick with me on this, Tom. I'm getting to the important part. It took me until I was 55 years old to think about all this in any detail. And by the time I had lived through over 2,870 Saturdays, I got to thinking that if I lived to be 75, I only had about 1,000 of them left to enjoy. So I went to a toy store and bought every single marble they had. I ended up having to visit 3 toy stores to round up 1,000 marbles. I took them home and put them inside of a large clear plastic container right here in the shack next to my gear. Every Saturday since then, I have taken one marble out and thrown it away. I found that by watching the marbles diminish, I focused more on the really important things in life. There is nothing like watching your time here on this earth run out to help get your priorities straight. Now let me tell you one last thing before I sign off with you and take my lovely wife out for breakfast. This morning I took the very last marble out of the container. I figure if I make it until next Saturday, then I've been given a little extra time. And the one thing we can all use is a little extra time. It was nice to see you, Tom. Nice to meet you. And I hope you spend a little more time with your daughter and maybe take your wife out to breakfast while you still got plenty of marbles left. I read that. It reminded me of one of A. Houseman's poems in Shropshire Lad. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Houseman's work, but he wrote a lovely poem that kind of echoes that sentiment. It's about the loveliest of trees, the cherry now. is hung with bloom along the bough and stands about the woodland ride wearing white for Eastertide. Now of my 80 years, or 80 years and 10, 40 will not come again, and take from 70 springs 20, only leaves me 30 years. And since to look at things in bloom, 30 years is little room. About the woodland I will go to see the cherry hung with snow. Don't miss your ride. Enjoy the grace of it. Enjoy the grace of it. So it's time to put away the kind of values that flow out of making treasures of earth stuff. It's time to take a look and see what we're still holding on to that keeps us from freezing in the winters of our discontent. It's time to master the sacred art of liberation. I would share something with you now to the mind of a being who's known as the forest monk, Chan Cha, who invites us to do everything with a mind that lets go. If you will let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you'll have a lot of peace. And if you will let go completely, you will know complete peace and freedom. Your struggles with the world will have come to an end. Yeah. And you will know the freedom of watching yesterday's all fall away. You'll know the freedom of forgiving, the freedom of forgetting.